Now that we've completed the tool usage of the Support Designer tab, what we'll do next, as explained in one of our previous tool videos, we need to make sure that our heels of our support panels are sitting right on the wall panel right there, because currently it is not looking great on that finishing right there. So we need to make sure that it is dropped from that position 90 millimeters down into the ceiling panel and placed right on top of my wall panel. Okay, to do this, obviously, we need to make sure that the ceiling panel is split into its own segments. So we'll head on to the Ceiling Designer tab and select the ceiling panel. Then use the Cut Selected Ceiling Panel tool, as we've learned within the ceiling panel tutorials. And cut it all the way through, just like that. Okay, the next step, we need to make sure that the ceiling panel is actually placed 1 millimeter from the inside of my support. The reason we make this change from 1 millimeter and not 0 is to actually create a tolerance between the support panel and your ceiling. Having it at 0 and absolutely flush is not always ideal, especially for the assembly and erecting team on site. With your design will note these issues in the next step, which I will show you if you do not have that spacing already altered right there. Within the 3D Project tab, I'm going to adjust that support that I have created that cavity for by going to the Properties, right-click Properties. In the Generals tab, the minimum Z right there, I can place that on 2.7 meters. Hit the Rebuild button, and it places it right on top of my walls. If I make that property change on a support panel that has not got that cavity between the ceiling panels right there, by going to the Properties, Generals tab, and changing this to be 2.7 meters, hit the Rebuild button, it cannot allocate a position to shoot to. So what we need to do is go back to the Ceiling Designer tab and do that same option that we've done on the first one by placing a 1 millimeter gap between the support and the ceiling. We can go back to the 3D and do that same rebuild by selecting, right-click and go to Build Selected. It already has the properties allocated to it of sitting right on top of the walls. Then the last one right there in the Generals tab, make sure the height is correct. And there we go. All of them sitting right on top of my wall panel. You can see right there. You can also hide some of these ceiling panels and also my roof panel just to give you a clear view of what is happening right there with my supports sitting on the inside of my ceiling and these sitting on top of my ceiling right there.